Lions fans, welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 554. Little bit late tonight. Sorry. Lions are stronger than ever. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and holiday jangle co-host, Jeff the Riz Rizden. How you doing, brother?
It's good to be back and being live. We're better late than never. We both have had interesting days involving being in cars, so it's all good now. We're here with you. We're here to talk Lions and have some fun.
The jangle with the dangle. All right, let's talk about it. We got a good show today. We're going to do a little warm-ups, get everyone to gather around the fire as we talk Lions. We're going to do a Packers game review because there are some fun things to cover. We're not going to look. It's been a while. It's been a week, right? So a lot of it's been covered, but we got, as we do, more angles and different angles that'll be interesting for you, I promise. We're also going to talk about, and it's going to lead into that, watching those Packers fans come to grip with the shite that their team is. We got some thoughts on that, so we'll get into that. We're going to talk about conquering injuries, returning to form. Are we coming back and to sail on top of the league just in time? We got a Bills game preview and a whole lot more. I feel like I'm still driving 75 miles an hour. I literally just got out of the car. Riz, you ready to go, man?
That's double the speed I was going today. So, yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
It's not kicking off. We'll pretend it did. Pretend the noise worked because it didn't for some reason. All right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, look at it. I'm going to figure out why. No, I'm not. We're just going to go. We're going to go.
Let's just go.
We're doing it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. All right. Let's get into it. Pretend you heard some really cool noise. Okay. We're going to get into it. The warm-ups right now. Sexy support for the fertile seed because it's that time of year, Riz. I don't know why. It's always that time of year. Let's talk about what we got. I think the first part, the sexy support. This is something I think we can all be proud of as Lions fans, and we'll talk about who more than others. But in a recent survey, the Detroit Lions were ranked 7th among the sexiest fans in the NFL. And this is interesting, folks. This is, look, I know our demographic. We're going to play to it a little bit. Males got 5.5% of the female vote, where females only got 2.3% of the male vote. So what we're saying here is evidently the men are voted sexier than the women for Detroit Lions fans. So guys, I know it's because Riz and I are helping carry you, but let's just celebrate it together. We'll share the wealth with everybody. I just want also... The two teams ahead of us, numbers 5 and 6, are both Los Angeles teams, and they're only 3 and 3.8% on the getting the percentage of female votes. So we really are effective as far as guys go. We're number 5, just behind the Niners. And ladies, let's pick it up a little bit. Am I going to be in trouble, Riz?
That probably is not going to play well, Chris. Yeah.
Oh.
Too many of the Southern California ladies are too tan, too long. That leather skin. I don't care for the leather skin.
Oh, okay, yeah. I loved life down there, but I'm a happily married man with a gorgeous wife, no matter where we are. Okay, so we'll keep going. That's the sexy support. Congratulations, Lions fans! 7th sexiest fan base in the NFL. So. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just a little bit of. Okay. From there, we'll get into the fertile seed. The Lions' magic number is 3, ladies and gentlemen. Number 3. If we take 3 wins, it's all over.
Is that the clinch? Is that clinching the number 1 seed, or is that clinching the NFC North, or both?
All of the above. All of the above.
That's what I thought.
3 is our number. We win. We go 3-1. It's all us. And
doesn't matter who that loss is to.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful place for this team to be. No one, I'm going to tell you, if this comes through to where we hope it does this season, no other team has helped us on this journey. This is all Detroit Lions. This is one to be proud of. One for the books, Riz. This is one for the books.
It is.
The injuries, to overcome like this.
That's the theme word for Detroit Lions this season. Overcome. and they're doing it every freaking week. I was on the Huge show today. Thanks for having me and Bill. Sat in for a couple hours today. It was he's doing great. Ratings are doing great for him. I'm very happy to be a small little slice of that, and happy to be in there and hanging out and not dying on the roads on the way home tonight, which was an adventure. West Michigan, we got a lot of snow, we got a lot of wind, and a lot of people that aren't used to driving in it yet, and it was harrowing.
Hopefully, East Michigan isn't that way, because I'm there tomorrow. You get a little.
If you've ever driven by on 196 by the Castle, that's a really bad spot to drive when even like in good weather, and it's really, really bad tonight. So, but I'm here and I made it, and he brought up today that they haven't lost since Aiden Hutchinson went down, and I'm like, that's right, like that's fact.
Yeah. And
who would have thought that when that happened?
No, well,
like even the sunniest guys would have been like, oh, they're going to drop one here or there.
I said they played better after Hutchinson was down in that game, if you remember.
But that's sort of like
he's a detriment to this team, ladies and gentlemen.
Factor though, like they had just lost Derek Barnes. I think it was the week before, maybe 2 weeks before.
Yep.
And they perked up in that game as well when he got hurt. I believe that was the Seattle game where he got hurt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they just keep finding people and rolling people. And now they found some guys off the street, off other roster practice squads who can actually play.
Yeah. Muhammad was just top of the charts. Look, the Detroit Lions are a better team without Hutchinson. I don't mean it. Please don't. Don't. I don't mean it. Hey, their win-loss records is all that matters is the wins, baby. That's what they tell me all the time. Nothing else matters. It's just the wins. And defensive end wins are a stat. Defensive end wins are a stat. Edge wins are a stat.
They need to do, with, Dan Campbell has the Metallica connection with No Leaf Clover. He needs to do Nothing Else Matters, and they need to work that in somehow.
Ooh.
Good suggestion from
Too slow. Too slow. Master of puppets, man. Pull the strings.
Harvester of Sorrow.
There you go.
We did that to Green Bay.
Short as straw. There you go. Has been pulled
trapped
for
under
you.
ice. We're Injustice for All Freaks, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
That's my favorite album.
Dyer's Eve, man, that thing, that speed on that one.
Holder.
Oh my God. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's talk some more about. Congratulations to the Ohio Bobcats for that MAC title. Didn't watch, but looked like an ass beating. Hopefully the Lions get a win over the Bills. This team makes me feel things. Wonderful, wonderful things, Ryan Smukula. So congratulations to your Bobcats, Riz. I wanted to make sure we got that in there.
Hey, we were down 3-0, and then we whipped. I don't say their name. We call them the Foreskins in Bobcat land. We beat them 38-3, and we lost our coach in the process. But considering what we did, they sort of overcame. Mm-hmm. Curtis Rourke was our quarterback for 3 years. He's now quarterbacking Indiana into the CFP. He will be in New York, I suspect, as a Heisman finalist.
That's pretty crazy.
We lost that, and we still won our first MAC title since my mom was a freshman at OU in 1968, which just floors me.
Man, oh man, oh man. That's work. That's work to be a fan like that, but you do it with the Lions, so you've carried them. All right, let's get into it. Let's get right into the Lions versus the Packers game. Quick review on that one. I want to go right into the Packers fans, but that's actually the next topic, right? And that's going to be a bigger topic. So let's just kind of skid through the game really quick. Riz, it was just so good, man. It was so good.
We played to win. They didn't.
Yes.
Long and the short of it.
Oh, my
Campbell's
God.
Playing to win. He trusts that his guys have his back. We don't make this. All right, defense, you got this. Offense, we're gonna do better next time. That was actually one of the takeaways that I had, and we talked about this in our Patreon Slack channel. They're so good when the offense fails on a drive at coming back, and the next drive, Goff is dialed in. Sewell's dialed in.
Yep.
Ben Johnson's dialed in, and they just crush it. I love that resiliency and that short-term memory to be able to put bad drives, bad series behind them. one of the things that we talked about back in the Matthew Stafford era was that he would have like a quarter where it's just like, dude, what are you doing?
It disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first quarter or the third quarter, but it was never the fourth quarter, it seemed like. But yeah, the first quarter, they would always start slow, or they felt like it, or the third quarter, they would just
they'd have like 3 drives in a row where they get 1 cumulative first down. And we don't get that. Like this team, they grind through that so well. And Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit for that. Doing that against Green Bay without Taylor Decker, without a run game to speak of, that was beautiful.
Yeah. That's something I think. It's not just that they can bounce back. This is a testament to this group of young men playing truly as a team and the trust that they have in one another. Again, there's a lot of talk about Dan Campbell going on it on 4th down and they scored on us, but they went in knowing that. They went in and that was their strategy, and they knew that exactly what happened could happen, that was a risk, but they also knew that it was an edge, that it gave them an edge over the Packers. And what happened, what we saw on that field with the Lions and the Packers this last Thursday was freaking bully ball. And the Packers wanted to be the tough guy and say, we're standing up to the bully. You can't push us around. And they got beaten back like a bunch of dirty bitches they are. It was fantastic to watch. It started like, there's all kinds of people on both sides of the fan at the beginning that did the throat slash move, and LaFleur. Whatever you think of him, LaFleur's reaction was off the charts, absolutely fucking wrong, and he should have been fined. He ran back at the fan and had the refs and security have to get into him. He's supposed to walk away. He came back for more. That's no. That's not okay. The fan should not be the only one paying the price. Again, whatever you think about what the fan did, that's fine. But he's the coach of a professional football team in the NFL, and you can't go incite somebody on the field of play ahead of a game. Wrong-o, buddy. I don't know how the hell he got off without that. But he came out. They came out like they were going to push us around. Kraft obviously was in that mindset and was trying to kind of really lead the charge on that. And those boys just couldn't keep up. They couldn't do it because the Lions are built different. And I'll tell you what it was. They came out and tried to do the bully ball. It's just like Matt Patricia showing up and trying to be the tough guy coach. He tried to be something he wasn't. They tried to be something they weren't. And the real men showed up and fucking slapped them in the face like the little bitches they were and gave them a little talking to. That's what happened on that field. The rest of it is, you can talk about the X's and O's and everything else, but that's exactly what the Detroit Lions did to the Green Bay Packers and put them in their place. That torch was passed. I told you the torch was passed, and that win in Lambeau at the end of that season, this is it. This is it. We crushed them like the bitches they are. I'll say it again.
It was very, very nice. And it was one of those, going down the stretch, a lot of people criticize Dan Campbell's clock management and going for it and not kicking the field goal. I personally love the fact that he chose that the Lions were going to be responsible for the Lions winning or losing that game.
Yep.
Green Bay was not going to be part of that equation. We were going to win it or we were going to lose it on our own, and he trusted his team wins that. That's a massively powerful message to send to your players that, hey, I believe in you enough that I'm going to take this risk because I know you're going to get it done. Now, when Jared Goff fell backwards when his foot got stepped on, I'm freaking out.
Oh, God.
Not going to lie. They still got it done.
I'm yelling at my wife. That's college he's down. That's not pros. That's college.
There is still one Packers guy in my Twitter X mentions who's still insistent that he was down. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? I wonder why I'm on Blue Sky all the time now.
I'll tell you the one thing that Dan Campbell said, and he has never backed down from, and it's absolutely the personality of him and this team.
I will beat your ass.
Period. No exclamation, no question mark, period. I will beat your ass. This team will beat your ass. Period. And Brad Holmes is standing behind him saying,
"Get back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me."
But he said behind him, right? You gotta get behind Dan on that one.
Yeah. Just the matter of factness with which Dan said that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like it's not a threat, it's not a warning, it's just fact.
Yep.
I will beat your ass.
And that's exactly what happened, though. Those Lions, Dan Campbell, they went out, they played their game, and the Packers came in and tried to play the Lions game, and that's what we're seeing a lot of teams do. They're reacting. They're trying to push us around. We're going to show them they can't push us around. Oh, yes, we can. We will push you around with our third string guys we picked up 3 days ago. We'll beat your ass. And they did. They did.
You know, I'm not going to compare this Lions team to that Ravens team of 2000, the team that won the Super Bowl, because they're very differently constructed. Mm-hmm. But too many teams got caught up trying to play Ravens ball that year instead of trying to actually beat the Ravens. And that is happening with this team. I 100% agree with you on that. Funny enough, the one team that didn't do that is Chicago. They tried to actually beat us, and they almost did. Even though they're not a very good football team.
Incompetent.
You know, if Green Bay plays Green Bay's game, they had a pretty good shot at beating us. That's why I picked them to win that game, because I thought without Decker, without Reeder, now the places where we might have had an advantage were disadvantaged based on how Green Bay plays. But Green Bay didn't play like Green Bay. They tried to play like Detroit. Didn't work.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Attitudinally, they're constructed the same. The players and the makeup of the team is different, but attitudinally the same. I love watching teams try to come to us, and this is one of those things. We've talked about this. We talked about it with Patricia and the Patriot way and all that. It was it's okay, so you're building the 86 Giants, whatever. Okay, let's see if it works. We talked
let's win the 1986 NFC East.
We talked about being the team that pulls the league to where you are and brings the rest of the league to you and sets the tone for what the next thing in the league. Running backs 2 years ago, was it? Were absolutely devalued. They couldn't even get a paycheck. They were like, man, maybe selling bricks is the thing, what I should be doing over there with my guy Bates, right? Yeah. They could. And now all of a sudden the running game, being able to run on third and long is crucial. Having the Gibbs and Monty and Sonic and Knuckles like we do now, all of a sudden it's in vogue, and it's the thing. I remember when the RPO, with Harbaugh and Kaepernick and everything in San Fran, where it really made its surge. Everybody was trying to figure out, we're going to play like that. We're going to play against that. We're going to play their game. You know what I mean? They didn't play their game. We're pulling people into the same trap. We're evolving the NFL. The same thing happened with McVay when he had Goff and then into Stafford. He's evolving the game. The game caught up to him, though. And we're in a spot right now where what a time to capitalize. What a great win over those silly Green Bay Packers. So nice.
We were just kicking off at this time last week.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was one of those. So as you know, Chris, I usually go to bed around 9:30. So the night games are a chore for me. That one, I was up and I was like, oh yeah. and it was just me and my daughter that were home last week. My wife was out of town, and my daughter gets up for school at about 6:15, and I was still up and I was still wired. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go, baby. She's like, did they win? I'm like, what do you think? Do I look like I'm wired? She went to school. I took a 4 to 6 hour nap and drank a crap ton of coffee and had a great weekend. Great weekend.
Yeah.
So one of the fun things for me is I went out. My daughter had a basketball game. I went out and just sitting with Lions fans who know me. They know what I do, and they're generally pretty respectful about it. But last week was like, dude, we got to talk about the Lions. Yes, we do. I'm good. Normally I like to try to make that as like an escape, but I'm like, no, man, this is great. Let's talk about the Lions, because that was so much fun.
Oh,
and I really appreciate all the guys that were out, and some of the ladies too, actually. There's a lot of knowledgeable lady fans in this fan base.
Yeah. Don't
let that fool you. There's some sharp cookies.
According to the survey, though, they're not as good looking. No, just ladies, please. I'm just reading the numbers here. I don't believe it. You know what we have to do? We have to elevate the Lions female fans.
Chris, your wife is a Lions fan, and she's quite fetching. So there you go.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be a good boy. All right, let's move on. Packers game, the review, bully ball, they couldn't handle it. That's it.
They could not.
And that leads us to what we're talking about next. Breaking the Packers fans. And the NFL is next. And Riz, this is two topics. You want to talk about this? I'm going to start with my side of the topic, and then we'll jump in yours. I just want to remind people, because I've talked about this a little bit. People are going to hate us when we find that success. When we get that Super Bowl, people are absolutely going to be out on us. We're their second favorite team right now. They love us. Oh, we're the lovable loser. And I told you, be that asshole, because once we win it and once we start beating these teams, they're going to hate you. And you're going to take all kinds of heat and all kinds of hate that you didn't deserve because you were nice. Just be that asshole. Be that jerk. Be that arrogant SOB. Earn it, because you're going to get it anyway. And what did we see after this Packers game? An absolute meltdown by Packers fans. Across the board, their podcasts, their coaches, their players, their fans, just dripping ganky cheese all over the place. Why? Because they were beat. And what did they do? They made excuses. Oh, the refs this, and oh, you're the dirtiest team in football. Oh, this, oh, that. All excuses, all bullshit. And you know what? Now they hate you. Now they hate you. Now you're a piece of crap. You were the lovable loser before. Now you're a piece of crap. That's the Packers fans, the Bears fans, the Vikings fans, hopefully the Bills fans. The rest of the NFL is going to get there as we march towards that Super Bowl. And if we win that Super Bowl, the love of the Lions, this goodwill we have, will be gone. You need to make sure you take advantage of it while you have it and just dog everybody except the Bills. Bills fans are nice. Treat them nice this week, because the Bills and the Lions actually have a good connection. People. Yeah, we have a good connection. Yeah. But otherwise,
Gary bros.
If we see them in the Super Bowl, that might be a little bit different. But until then, dog them all. Dog them all. Earn the hate. You're going to get it. Earn it. Fuck them. That's what I say. Okay, Riz, that wasn't what you want to talk about breaking the Mike Tomczak era.
So there, just watching the fan and media reaction from Green Bay on not being the favored son anymore, of not having the sun shining on their face. It's now up their ass, and they do not know how to handle that. And this is not just a Detroit thing, by the way, because I wrote a rather inflammatory piece about that, and Cowboys fans shared that, and it went viral in Cowboys land. Like, they know. Bears fans were all over it. I actually did a radio spot in Peoria yesterday talking about it. Packers fans have no clue how to handle not being the golden child, not being the favored one. And it's a very difficult reality for them. Yep. And while I can empathize with that, y'all had this coming too, man, because y'all are not gracious winners. And Chris, unlike you, I can't not be a gracious winner. That's just the way I was brought up.
I can be an asshole.
Yes, you can. As long as you own it, you're good there. Yeah. I don't do that well. I'm because of the way I grew up and all the sports teams that I have loved have generally sucked throughout my entire lifetime. I'm a little bit more empathetic to that, but Packers, man, y'all got to learn. You're not the dog anymore. Now you're part of the rest of the hydrant.
Yeah.
And it's smelly and it's rough, and it just
someone's going to put you in a bag and throw you out.
So one of the common comebacks from Packers fans was like, well, you're not any better. I'm like, no, we're not. We're not claiming to be. You were claiming to be. Now you're with us and you hate it. You can't handle being in our reality. Get used to it, because you're the third best team in this division, and it's not going to change.
You don't have the sack for it. You don't have the sack for it. If it isn't crusted in gold, you don't have the sack. And no. I said at the beginning of the year, my prediction was that the Packers were in for a fall. that they were in the beginning of their decline. People don't think so.
They're still good though.
They're still good, Chris. They're still good, but they're in the beginning of their decline. I'm telling you, this team, it's where I first said it. Now it's like stuck. They're headed toward the Mike Tomczak era. And it's going to fall apart. It's things just like this. And this is where I talk about breaking the Packers fans. This broke a little piece of the soul of the Packers players too. They walked out of there stunned, angry, and confused as to what the hell happened, because they thought they were going to come in and be bullied back, and they got beat up. Like, they thought they were tough, and then the bigger kid came and beat their ass. They're confused. This is like, well, this is where the doubt, this is where the seed of doubt. This is what happened in Philadelphia last year, where it was a team of players rather than a team.
Exactly
right. And as this happens, and this kind of mentality and psychology runs through that locker room, it's going to cause problems, and people are going to move, and that roster is going to get torn to pieces, and it's going to take like a Dan Campbell type and a Brad Holmes type and a Chris Spielman type to pull that back together once that parasitic attitude infests that locker room, and it's going to be glorious to watch. And I'm going to buy Packers stock. When they start selling it for nothing because they hate the team, and they remember when Lions fans were burning Lions jerseys? They're going to be burning shares of stock. I guarantee that's how mad they are at this incompetent team. Wow. And I am going to buy it so I can tell them I own the Packers. I'm going to gift it to the Detroit Lions organization and the Ford Foundation and say, we literally own the fucking Packers. Okay? Done.
My good old friend Will is a diehard Bears fan, and he does own some Packers stock. And he likes to hold that up from time to time. It's fun little thing to do. Yeah, I just like the Packers, and you're in third place. Like, you're not going to escape that. I think now, having said it, I do want them to beat Minnesota, because that makes our life easier. I want that. Dan Campbell doesn't necessarily want that. Dan Campbell came out yesterday. We're recording this. What is it? Today's Thursday. Yeah, Wednesday's press conference. And he talked about how nice it is that they have to keep winning. That the teams below them, specifically Philadelphia and Minnesota, are putting so much pressure on them to keep staying sharp. And while the fan in me would like my fingernails back, I ain't got none. I kind of like where he's coming from on this, because they're probably going to get that bye. I'm thinking they're going to be the number one seed and get that bye. And that sharpness that you carry with you, even having to win that last game against the Vikings, that's going to do so much more for them than cruising into the postseason. Like right now, Buffalo clinched 2 weeks ago. Week 13, they won their division.
Yep.
Like, where's the impetus for them? Because they can't catch the Chiefs for the number one seed.
Right.
They would have to go 4-0, and Kansas City would have to go 2-2. If you look at the Chiefs' schedule, they might lose to Denver. Maybe. I don't think that's going to happen. And with the way the Bills are playing defense, I don't think they're beating us. Spoiler alert.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but where's theirs? Why would you? How do I phrase this? Their coaching staff has a real challenge in keeping them that engaged for that long of a time, and then being able to, if they fall down a little bit, to flip the proverbial switch when they're hosting the Chargers or the Broncos. Both dangerous teams in that postseason. I worry for them. And I say that as somebody, I like the way the Bills roster is constructed for the most part. I like the fact that they've gone about it the right way. And they realize that Josh Allen is their guy, so they have built their team around making Josh Allen the guy, and he wears it pretty dang well. I like teams that do that.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, it's tough for them right now, man. Because and the contrast for that is the fact that Minnesota is still playing some pretty damn good football. They got a little lucky playing Kirk Cousins. He did not handle his return very well.
They're playing what, a second place or a third place schedule? I can't remember what
they're
it
playing
is.
a third place schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. We used to play that too. Remember, we couldn't beat teams over 500, and we'd get our wins over teams that were under. We're playing a first place schedule. It's a tough schedule. It's the way it is. So I look at their wins and our wins. Not as concerned that they're as good as they are on the roster. And I'll tell you this. I just inside the building, they feel like they've got the Vikings number. They feel like they've absolutely got their number. So
I'm not worried about I'm worried about the Vikings offense putting up some points on us. I'm not worried about their defense stopping us that much. Now, to their credit, their defense has withstood a lot longer than I thought it would with their personnel. I think Brian Flores is doing a great job, and I did not expect that from him specifically with that group. So good for them. But they blitz way the hell too much to stop Jared Goff, because if you blitz against Jared Goff, you are going to lose badly.
Yep. Yeah. And there's just too many weapons. There's just too many weapons on that offense. And the other thing is the Lions are playing this comeback game, right? They're the underdog comeback game where we're signing guys and 3 days later they're on the field. And again, we talked about this with Jerry. Jerry was a guy we found that played well for us in a time when we had nothing on the roster, right? And so those injuries are how we found Jerry, right? And we found some of the other guys. We're finding guys right now. This Muhammad, man, like
Al-Qadim Muhammad is a keeper. He'll be on this team next year.
100%. Like out of nowhere, right? This guy is just killing it. We're seeing players come and show up and show some depth here that we never knew and never would have known we had. And then the playing time they have, when we get back, when we've got Reeder and Hutchinson and Muhammad and McNeil and Smith and this Campbell and like the whole front seven. I mean, you think about how many guys you can rotate. You could have a fresh guy every play and he's almost starter caliber. This is crazy. What this defense looks like. You're also not going to be like completely handicapped if
John Cominsky for some reason doesn't come back, and we haven't really seen or heard from him for a while. Yep. You know, Anzalone supposed to be back by Christmas. What if he waits an extra week? Okay, that's more Ezekiel Turner. Yeah. It was incredible against Green Bay. There's another guy. He is basically in the Jalen Reeves-Maben role.
Yep.
He's a converted safety. He played at 210 pounds at Washington in college. Speed, coverage, linebacker, special team specialist, but he's found a niche in the Lions defense, and AG knows how to use him properly. Yep. And that's one of the best things that I love AG for this, and his assistant coaches deserve credit for it as well. He's not asked these guys to do things that he knows they can't do. Just go out, as Dan said, play hard and finish plays to the best of your ability, and we'll make that work. And they're doing it, by golly. And that's, Quan Alexander, he got burned on that one touchdown pass where he's like, oh, crap, that was my guy running down the field uncovered. Like, my bad. But, like, he had 2 practices. Like, and I'm not going to get on him for that.
He had some good plays.
He cared.
He had some really good plays, and he had one where he's just out of position. I mean, you can see Quan Alexander is a guy who's better than Quan Alexander in the Lions in this spot is going to be better than the Quan Alexander before he was on the Lions, right?
Yes.
Mike,
absolutely.
In the chat asks right now, who gets the credit for the new guys, coaching or pro scouting department? And I gotta say both. Say both. I mean, Brad Holmes' team, finding the right people. There's some magic in there. There's some absolute magic from draft to pro scouting across the board. They find the right kind. They've got I don't know what's in the bottle, what's in the formula, but they get the right kind of players. And then Campbell and Glenn and crew, they get these guys, they get everything out of them. It's fantastic. And how quickly they fit into the locker room, the attitude, the support these guys have for each other. It's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a group this closely knit in the Lions locker room, potentially my life.
They have a very special chemistry, and it's purposely done that way. This team is purposely concocted the way it is. And, finding a guy like Miles Adams who sacked Jared Goff back in week 4.
Yeah.
Let's ask our offensive lineman, what do you think of this guy? You better believe that conversation happened.
Yep.
You better believe that conversation is, for guys who knew Zadarius Smith, like, hell yeah, man, get him in here. He's been phenomenal. He's been one of the best pass rushers in football since he came here. Cleveland, everybody's like, oh, Myles Garrett made him. He's getting single. Nah, he's proven more than that.
What about two-ply?
He had that chip to play.
What about two-ply? TP.
Yeah.
Tim Patrick. Well, my guy, he was washed. According to everybody, he was washed.
So hurt. He was so hurt for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, he was washed. He's never coming back. Boom. 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. Man.
It was very nice to see the appreciation in his eyes in that locker room speech. Because that's a guy who really thought his career was over, and not one person even in Denver, where they did love him a lot, would have been like, you know what? It sucks, but we get it.
Can I make an equivalency with him?
Yeah.
Jared Goff. Everyone thought he was washed. He was just there. We're taking on his contract. That's why we got the first round pick. Yeah, he's the throw-in, right?
I thought some of that too. I knew he would get a shot.
You knew his confidence was shook, right? You knew, but we talked about it. His head was the only thing that wasn't working for him, and his head was messed up by his coach in LA. But it was the same kind of thing. He was a cast-off. Nobody believed. People didn't believe it. Quan Alexander, people didn't believe him anymore. He doesn't have it. Where is this coming from? Where do these guys right? Where are these guys getting it? Where is it coming from?
That's where the coaching component comes in.
The O-line. Where is this O-line getting it? Where is Dan Skipper allowing only 1 pressure at left tackle against the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah.
And with the beautiful flop. Dan Skipper is a freaking Detroit national freaking hero. I love Dan Skipper, period. This guy's story is one of the most fun Detroit stories. And the thing about the flop piece is Dan has a freaking temper a mile long. Like, you can get, he and I share this. Like, if you get under, like, right, I'm a really nice guy, Riz. We talk about I can be an asshole, but I'm really, really nice. But if you get under there, man, you get the fangs, right? And
with the bull, you'll get the horns.
Yeah. He's that kind of guy. And for a guy like that to do the, and go and get the penalty, just freaking brilliant, man. He is so... the most lovable 47-foot tall man in the frickin' world.
He's a perfect epitome of what it means to be a Detroit Lion. A guy who has remade himself. I believe the transaction count with him is up to 37. Like, wow. It's crazy. That dwarfs Andre Fluellen.
Yeah.
And we all still make jokes about him.
Yeah.
It's good-natured jokes, but jokes nonetheless. Skip, this week, he did his time at left tackle, did the best that he could.
Tackle. Only 1 pressure, bro.
Now he gets to go back and be the extra tackle. That was taken out of our playbook. Now we've got more. Because Decker's going to be back. He's been healthy 2 practices in a row. He'll be fine.
Yep.
Now we've got that card to play if we need to. And Buffalo is a team that you kind of want to run downhill on them. Who better to do that than Dan Skipper, all 6'10", 330 pounds of him, charging at your slow-footed inside linebacker. Like, that's a really, really bad matchup for Buffalo.
Yeah.
David Montgomery going to have a big game this week. This is a Monty. This is not a Gibbs game. This is a Monty game.
It's a Monty montage.
That doesn't mean that Gibbs won't also be great, but this is a Gibbs. This is a Monty special game.
Yep.
Because they arm tackle.
Yep. This is a Monty montage on the way. All right, so there it is. That's the Breaking the Packers fans. The rest of the NFL is coming. We're going to do it to every team. This is who we are.
Oh, you Packers fans! I'm not sorry for you. And the funny thing is, I'm actually going to Green Bay next week for an unrelated thing, but I'll be wearing Lions gear around town.
Yep, I will be at the Bills game. I have my flight out tomorrow. I will be at the Bills game, so get loud, folks. Look for if you see me, say hi. We'll say hi back. We'll have a good time. I am so stoked, so stoked.
You're gonna have a wonderful weekend, and I really wish I could be with you on Saturday, but unfortunately, life interfered with that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's great. I'm really proud of him. Happy for him. Good. I don't want to say anything because he hasn't said anything public. I don't want to out him, but a good friend of us. The show is getting married, and it's a really nice little thing. Can't wait. Love this guy to death.
Absolutely is.
It's special. Yep. All right, let's get into the next one. Now that the NFL is next, why? Well, that's because we're coming out the other side of the injury front. The Detroit Lions are getting healthy. And I just saw it in the Jeff. It's right there in the chat right now. From what it sounds, we're getting back Decker, McNeil, Reeder, Levi, Pascal. That's going to help us big time. 13-1 is the call.
Yeah. So on that, Decker has been a full participant 2 days in a row. Aleem has been a full participant 2 days in a row, and he's in the concussion protocol. That means he will get out of it tomorrow, assuming that it doesn't have any lingering impact from being a full participant today. He will get cleared tomorrow, which is great because they need him back. The only guy who's going to be out for sure is Trevor Nowaski because he's in the concussion protocol. He did not practice today. Therefore, there's not enough time for him to go through the rest of the protocol to get active. So he will be one of your inactives. But we found that Jamal Adams can probably play Sam. That's where he's been practicing almost exclusively since he's been in Detroit. Please don't call him a safety. He is not a safety anymore. He weighs more than all but one linebacker on the team. That's Jack Campbell. He's bigger than all the other linebackers. He's not a safety anymore, folks. He's your new Sam linebacker this week while Nowaski unfortunately deals with a concussion.
So are you more worried? Oh, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead, Riz. Go ahead, keep going. I'm jumping on to the next topic, so I'm going to stop.
So Reeder should be back. Levi is still going to be dicey from my understanding. I think I did not see Dan's press conference today, but my understanding from talking to a couple people who were in the room was that he was probably overselling Levi a little bit. So there's a chance that he might not be back. We'll see. I don't know. Today's practice was the big one, and Dan said that several times this week. Like Thursday's going to be the big day. You know, if things go as planned, he'll be back. But getting Reeder back is going to be huge because Buffalo, when you've got a running quarterback and he can't go forward right away, that's a massive asset. So having Reeder and McNeil back in there would be so good.
Yeah.
And who else was hurt? Decker's back. Pascal. Pascal should be back this week too. Yeah. He's been a full participant from my understanding for both days. So that's good because he had been playing better football than I think PFF was giving him credit for. And also a lot of the fans who were just like, he's always hurt. Let's get rid of him. He's better than that, guys. He really is.
He is.
He does need to stay healthy though. I will not dispute that one bit.
Yeah. Chris will be at the Bills game plus doing a post-game show to keep the streak going. Working on it. Haven't figured it out yet. Look, I want us to win as much as you guys do. Especially because I'm going to spend all the money to be there. I'm going to figure something out. Let it go, Riz. Let it go. I got these nifty new Ray-Bans. And he didn't. Have you seen these Meta Ray-Bans? They're pretty freaking sweet.
I'm afraid of those.
Are you?
To be honest with you, I am.
They're really cool. Like you can live stream from them. So like point of view live streaming and stuff. We'll see. I'm gonna play with them a little bit. They're pretty impressive. They are actually pretty impressive. So I may again. I'm trying to put something together for on the field and after the game we'll see. I'm gonna try. We want to win. We got to put something together. We'll do this. We'll do this. Chris, you got to go old school. Put out content without the fancy home studio stuff. Call Case. He can help.
Case, wow.
We got to call Case. We got to talk. We got to get him back in. I was texting with him a little bit ago. Oh man. All right. Oh, I'm getting the first step in becoming a cyborg. I'm willing. I'm willing to be a cyborg. I'm willing to be the first person to go to Mars and no, I'm not coming home. I'm actually.
When the aliens that are apparently invading New Jersey, when they get to Michigan,
that's crazy.
I volunteer. I'll beam me away.
You just want the anal probe.
No, I don't. But I wonder, like, why does everybody always assume that aliens are going to be nefarious and trying to kill us? Maybe they need our help. Nobody ever takes that angle.
Yeah, they don't. If they came all that way to be here, they don't need our help. our help. We may be fuel, right? Maybe labor to mine Krypton from the planet Dingleberry.
I don't really do science fiction, but maybe there are some things out there that are like that. I don't know.
We'll do a whole nother stream of podcasts on that kind of stuff. But that stuff in New Jersey is pretty crazy, man. Those UFOs and stuff, and then all the speculation from like the people and then the DOD. They said there are aliens. They said it in congressional hearings. We talked about that a couple shows ago. They said so. It's all off the table now. It's all off the book. Who knows? This is why the lines are going to win.
My personal speculation is that all those AWACS planes that are out there, they're turning them. They're getting pilots out of there, and they're droning, and they're seeing the limits of what they can do with those. That's my crackpot theory that knows nothing. I'm some weirdo out here. I don't know. That's what I say.
Why did you choose the AWACS? Because it's got the funny AWACS radar? Yeah, because it's got the funny radar.
The giant dish on the top. Yeah. When we lived in Houston, we lived right by Ellington Air Force Base, which is where they launched them from. We'd see them like 20 times a day.
They got to get some of those warthogs out there. Evidently, they were having problems with those. They were getting bird strikes in the back. Anyway, they're not fast.
So you had a point that I interrupted you from, and I hope you can remember it.
No, I remember it. It's for when we get to the next topic, though. So I'm good. So here we are. We got injuries. Boy, that was a jag, huh? That's a fun little sideliner. We should do a crazy. Maybe April 1st, we'll do a crazy like UFO episode or something stupid like that. That might be fun.
Go off on all my weird little theories that I have.
Yeah. I think that. So last thing, sorry, I have my neighbors come over. Like we get together like once a month, and we go my house, their house, their house. There's 4 of us. We get together. When we do my house, we have a thing where I make someone every time has to defend a conspiracy theory as if they truly believe it. And it's such a fun exercise, man. It is such a fun, because like when you do it, you start thinking like, okay, I can see how this is believable. Like you can, because you have to argue for it, right? It's really fun. It's really, especially when you're drinking. Anyway, let's get onto it.
As you know, I don't believe in any conspiracy theories. I don't believe that my conspiracy theory is that conspiracy theories don't actually exist.
Wow. No, there'd be too many people involved for that one to happen.
That's exactly right.
Too many people would have to keep that a secret. All right. Lions versus the Bills.
There's no conspiracy theory about the Lions winning the Super Bowl. Roger Goodell doesn't care.
He does. He cares, but really he knows that no matter who's there, he's going to make money. It's just how much more money will he make with one over the other.
That's fair.
The conspiracy's in Vegas because they're going to get their asses handed to them if the Lions win.
Well, they've said so over the years.
They've said so. Well,
they have said so.
They don't ever.
They're very exposed when they start offering you buyouts. That's a pretty good sign that they're nervous.
Maybe it's the aliens holding them in check. All right, let's talk about the Lions-Bills preview. Oh man. Okay, the Bills. I want to talk about the number one thing that the Lions have to worry about, and that is Josh Allen. He's gonna. I think his rushing totals will be higher than anybody else. I think his obviously his passing yards. He's an absolute threat. Josh Allen's a great freaking player. He really is. He's fun to watch, And I hate to say it as
Yes,
playing against them. Buffalo is really a fun team to watch, and they're a hard team to hate. You know what I mean? With their so close but never got there so many times kind of Lions connection. They exist because of the Lions. You know, like there's so many connections between these teams. I can't hate them. I want to beat them. There's no question I want to beat them. But boy, what a lovable opponent they are.
And they're good too, and I think that helps. Like they've been good for a while, and this was a year where I thought they might take a slide back a little bit, and maybe they haven't. Just the rest of their division is. I mean, their division's awful.
Yeah,
like the Dolphins, the Bears are better than the Dolphins. I have no problem saying that.
How would you like to be the Dolphins or the Jets, though? Like you endure years of the Patriots, and just as they fall off, here come the freaking Bills to take the mantle and just curb stomp everybody. Oh, that division would suck to be in, man.
The Jets. By the way, you can collect your season win total under total on the Jets in week 11. That's so bad.
Wow, man.
Oh my God. But that's what you get when you hire a geriatric, crazy drug addict, loving anal probe dude, Aaron Rodgers, ayahuasca. I assume the only reason you take those drugs is so things can go up your ass. I don't do drugs, as you know, Chris. I don't like drugs at all.
But you like things up your ass.
Anal invasion either. I do not.
Just a finger. Just a little tickle.
I'm reminded now of the 2.5 Men where the girl just does this and Charlie's like, ah!
Oh man. Yeah, no,
Good times.
So here's the thing that's the strangest about the Bills and Lions matchup. Okay, and I'm going to hit the Lions first. Okay, the team grades from PFF. Right. The Lions overall are number 1. Their offense is number 2. Their defense is number 3, and their special teams is number 5. Okay, overall number 1 team in the NFL. Bills, really, really good team. A lot of people saying this could be a preview of the Super Bowl. The Lions and the Bills. This is how good the Bills are. How good the Lions are. Overall, the grade on the Bills, 17th. Their offense, Josh Allen, 10th. Defense, 24th. Special teams, 17th. There's a big discrepancy there between these two teams in the rankings in PFF. Some of it you can say PFF is taking subjective things and trying to make them objective, so there can be some gaps there. But this gap is a little bit too much to overlook. There's 16 position difference overall in the rankings between these teams, Riz.
I believe it. And having watched some of the Bills, we most of us, I would assume, watched them play the Rams. Their special teams are a massive liability at this point. They have been going downhill all year.
Yep.
Lions, the punting combination, and I want to give Hogan Hatton some credit as the rookie long snapper.
Yep.
Jack Fox deserves a lot of credit. When you watch the all 22 of the punts, Khalil Dorsey just flies off the screen in coverage. That guy is killing it on the outside. They are so Phipp has his guys so well tuned. I love it.
Yeah,
they're not going to give up a vulnerability. If they give up a big return, it's because the Bills got away with a penalty. That's the only way, because these guys, they're not making the mistakes. They're not giving up the lane integrity. They are beating their blocks off the time. It's fun to watch the special teams as much as infrequently as we get to see them, because we don't punt very often. We're really, really good at it. I love that.
Couple of quick things. Jeff asks if he can stay awake for his colonoscopy. Peaceful Tim, what the F? No. LSD is now off my bucket list. James Willis with an honest question. How many points does this Bills defense allow per game? So while they've allowed 268 for the year, it's 20.6 per game played that they've allowed. We're going to put more than that on them for sure. This offense.
I would think so. Yes, because remember they've played the Jets. They played them twice already, didn't they? Let me look here.
Okay. While you do, Tampa, Detroit Lion. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. That's very, very kind of you. Look forward to this podcast each week. Merry Christmas, guys.
Hey,
Merry Christmas
Merry
to you
Christmas.
too, Tampa Detroit Lions. Love you, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much.
By the way, it's time to start your shopping. If you haven't already, Christmas is less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Get all your stuff from Amazon. Doesn't cost you more, and they give us a little kickback. There you go. I haven't said that in a while.
I'm looking at some of they have played. They played Kansas City. They gave up 21. That's pretty good. The Rams hung 44 on them, but the week before that, the 49ers. By the way, the 49ers are playing tonight, and if they lose, they're, for all intents and purposes, done.
Yeah, but they're all coming back healthy, except for McCaffrey.
We'll see. But yeah, so they gave up 28 to Arizona, like 10 to Miami, 10 to Jacksonville, 10 to Tennessee. Like they played some bad offenses along the way too. They get Detroit, then they get their breather. They get New England and New York, who are both picking in the top 10, and then they finish with New England. They haven't played the Patriots yet. The Patriots offense. I don't want to diss Drake May because I think there's something there. But that's not a good football team. That's really not a good offense. So their scoring defense will probably look better. Yeah. And that's where I like to look at DVOA, and I do not subscribe to that, whatever that FTN I believe it is. So I can't look at that. But I feel very good about our offense, especially with Taylor Decker back, because they did miss him. Not necessarily in pass protection. I wrote about this at Lions Wire this morning. They missed his run blocking, specifically when they go to zone run blocking, because that's not Dan Skipper. Dan Skipper is not a zone run blocker. And everyone's like, oh, you run gap. Well, they've been running almost 50% zone. And last week, they actually ran more zone than they did gap duo, whatever you want to call it. They're getting more zone because they've realized that that's when Jahmyr Gibbs hits them.
Yeah.
He hits the big plays off zone runs. And Skipper just wasn't there. And it's not Graham Glasgow's strong suit either, unfortunately. So now you've got Decker back in there. You can do a little bit more with your run game. And again, like I said, Skipper can be that sixth tackle now, that sixth lineman as your extra blocking tight end. Nothing against Shane Zylstra. I don't want him as my extra blocker. Yeah. I don't want Brock Wright as my extra blocker. I want Dan freaking Skipper out there moving people.
Yeah. He's a bulldozer. Yeah, for sure.
Stay out the way of that snowplow.
Jeff Merrill, I've heard the Buffalo podcast describe the Lions as the Rams, but better. I'd say the Rams, but tougher. The Rams meaner.
The Rams, when they're hot, are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
You won't hear me say otherwise. Getting them to stay hot for a prolonged period of time, and some of that has to do with health. With Nakua and with Kupp healthy, and with their offensive line playing the way they are right now, that's a team that I hope beats Philadelphia in the playoffs, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And they could.
The Rams are a dangerous team. I really don't like them. I don't want to see them again. I want them to be put to bed. I'd love to see them beat Philadelphia and then get knocked out in the next round. That's exactly how I'd like that to go.
My playoff fear teams in order: Tampa Bay, because they beat us and they beat Philly. There's something there, and they're getting healthy now too. Although they just lost Antoine Winfield, probably until the playoffs. But that's a dangerous football team. No pun intended with Baker Mayfield there. And with Mike Evans back, they can beat us. They have beat us. The Rams and the Eagles are probably equal because Philadelphia, the way they can run the ball and the way that they use Saquon, I think Saquon has probably deserves some MVP talk more than he's getting. He has fundamentally transformed that offense from being Jalen Hurts-centric to being Saquon-centric, and they wear it very well. And they have a very good offensive line. So they are certainly intimidating. Then probably Seattle. We beat Seattle, and Seattle played pretty well against us too, and we still ran away from them. So I'm not super worried about them. Minnesota's good. I'll take Jared Goff over Sam Darnold. Thank you very much. And then Green Bay's soft mentally. We proved that.
They're broken. Yeah. I this is where
I'm very curious how they play in the next couple of games, because that could have been a very real turning point for them.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either.
No. Talking about the defense on the Bills. I mean, other than Christian Benford,
He's good.
Yeah. Other than him, I feel like you can throw in any of them. And the linebacking. I mean, you're right about Monty. I mean, just across the board, Christian Benford, Rousseau, Oliver. Okay, fine.
Matt Milano, when he's on the field, is a difference maker. But their safeties right now. Hamlin is probably going to miss this game, from my understanding. And who's the other safety? It's not coming to
Rapp.
me. He's also injured. Taylor Rapp. Yeah. So
Taylor's
they both
hurt?
missed practice again. Well, they did not have practice today because of the snow. Another advantage for the Lions: the Bills couldn't get together to physically get at their facility to have a practice. Guess what Thursday is? Thursday, usually Wednesday is install day. Thursday is like, let's get comfortable doing what we're going to do this week, and then Friday is your walkthrough. So they're missing that day. That's not going to help because they haven't played anybody like Detroit.
Yep.
Really.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. Their line is
tough.
Offensively, their line is tough. They got Shakir, they got Cooper, they got Kincaid, they got Coleman, all great ball catchers. Yeah. Right.
Coleman will be back too. He's going to be there. And Kincaid, Chris, you know this from being at the Senior Bowl. The Lions had two tight ends that they really loved in that draft, Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid.
Yep.
And they were right about both of them because Laporta's fantastic. Kincaid can ball too.
Yep. And then, of course, Cook in the backfield and Jared Allen. Their offense is definitely the strength of this team. It feels a little bit, though, like the Lions build of last year. It was all on the line on the offense, and we were hoping the defense could hold it together. And that's where the Lions can win this game, is by picking apart that defense. I would get nervous if the Lions have trouble moving the ball early. I would start getting a little bit nervous about how this game is going to play out. The Lions they need to be able to move the ball, to control the ball, and to put that ball in the end zone. And if they can do that, there's no stopping them in this game against the Buffalo Bills.
So they are very dependent on turnovers. I'm looking. Last week was the first week that they didn't have a turnover or a takeaway on defense, and they've got games before that. They had 12 in their previous 5 games. So this is a team that. Yeah, they are very good at forcing takeaways, and they don't give the ball away. They have to have the best turnover ratio in the league. They've given it over one. What's it say up here? I have access to the information. I should probably use
it. I just while you look that up,
where to go?
While you look that up, I'm going to talk about that Matthew McConaughey commercial. What you eating? Oh, look, Jerry's having rice. The turnovers, pancake block. That's the best commercial this season.
So man. Good.
McConaughey just carries that.
I have grown to really love Matthew McConaughey, and I used to think he was not worthy of my time.
Hey, dude, you sit around naked with the bongos a little bit, you too can be an amazing actor.
I mean,
Paradise Cove, little mobile home, have a good time. That's where it's at. They make great mojitos too.
Mojito sounds good. The Bills are plus 17. They have taken the ball away 24 times, and they have not given it away. They've given it away 7 times. That's impressive.
Yeah.
The Lions are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th at plus 8. And remember, they were minus 4 against Houston. So other than that. And all the teams above them, with the exception of the Chicago Bills, really all the teams that are like in the top half here, pretty much every team that's positive other than New Orleans and Chicago are playoff teams. And the teams at the bottom at the other end, the Raiders minus 17, Titans minus 11. All the bad teams have the negative takeaways. Is that causation? I don't know, but
correlation.
Good teams take the ball away, and Buffalo's really good at taking the ball away.
That reminds me of one thing that I want to say about the you don't want the bye week. Maybe you're changing your mind this year.
I am changing my mind because of the health issue and because I am more and more believing that Dan and his coaching staff will not let them fall and get complacent or get rusty.
And I'll tell you, this is a weird one. Okay. It's like 15-1 teams that got the bye week made the Super Bowl. It's pretty crazy, crazy numbers. So the bye week does play in their favor. So there we go. Okay. So what I'm seeing right now, though, is a minus 2.5. This is a Hard Rock bet. Minus 2.5 with the Lions. Wow, that's a little bit crazy because you get 3 just for being home.
1.5.
You get 3 for being home, man. That's like down a half point there. That's a little bit in the Bills' favor. It might be.
Well, I think people look at the Lions' defense and all the injuries and are like, they're not going to stop Josh Allen. They might not have to because Josh Allen might have to keep scoring in order to keep up with Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Jahmyr Gibbs. We can see Taylor Decker catch a pass. Monty's going to have a big game. I can feel that. We got special teams. I like where we're at. I think we can get a return on these guys. I think we can trust in Jake Bates, which still is weird to me that I can trust him, but I do. I've never seen a guy miss that many extra points in a practice and then go out and be so freaking good in games. It blows my mind.
He's really come around. Like and I haven't seen him practice recently, right? But at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, this is dodgy, right? And it's like, his kicks keep honing in. I mean, he just continues to get better. It's fantastic. And the boot that he has, the distance that he can make that from is pretty incredible. I mean, I don't know if Dan Campbell knows what to do with a good kicker. I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously being a little facetious here, but it's crazy.
Well, he has told us that he doesn't want a long distance kicker because the only time he will ever use him is when he absolutely needs him. Well, Jake Bates could change that calculus for him. That's another one of the things that I like about these Lions, that if they find something that changes the way that they should think, they'll change.
And I'm all in on a denial of talent strategy. Look, there's only so many long range kickers out there, and if we have one of them and we only use them every sparingly now and then and don't get to use it, that's fine. That just means someone else doesn't have him. Like, I'm okay with that.
Means Minnesota doesn't have him. They have Greg Joseph, who couldn't make this team.
Jofus. Yeah.
Actually, I don't think they have him anymore. they go through kickers. They go through kickers like Tommy Lee goes through nose rings,
and like you go through anal probes. All right.
Nothing has ever been up my ass. Thank you very much.
Oh, I have.
I did get a colonoscopy.
Figuratively.
That was not fun.
Figuratively. You asked to stay awake for it. It's the rumor I heard. Okay.
My God. Oh my God. That'd be horrifying. I could imagine nothing worse than that.
This is really going off the rails. This is what happens when we drive too many hours on, like, it was like, wake up at 5, work,
it's been a long
drive for 6 hours week. And go right into
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I did a ton of draft stuff this week. I put up a mock draft at DraftWire. Please go check it out. You can see who I picked for the Lions. And I will tell you right now, that, again, when I do projections, especially this time of year, what I write is not necessarily congruent with what I would do, because the guy that I put for the Lions is a guy that I do not want the Lions to draft at all, but I think they're going to like him quite a bit, and I don't, and I'll have to deal with it if they do, but let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah.
I saw Quentin Coples the first time around. I don't need to see his twin.
All right. What's your prediction for this Bills game, Rizzy?
I got 38-30 Lions.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. I think.
Where are you at?
I'm going to look here. I want to just make sure Yeah, I got the over for sure. I'm going to be 35-28. It's going to be a big score. It's going to be a lot of touchdowns. I really think Mr. Bates is going to have a seat.
I think this is a game where when you have 4th and 3 from the Bills 7, you go for it.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. So that's it. Fans, get loud. Say hi. We'll look for you while we're out there, but get loud this week for these Buffalo Bills. And remember, as Captain Ancelone says, if you're waiting till they get to the line to get loud, you're too late. You need to make it difficult in the huddle. So loud, 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 but only when Buffalo's on the field. But you guys know what's up. Yeah, Shane, that's right. Riz shows up pre-lubed for his prostate check.
My God.
The chat's lit.
I love that y'all pick up somebody that I'm not. It's great.
I'm actually attributing that to somebody else. It was my joke. I'm sorry, Riz. I couldn't.
I'm going to send Ancelone to your house and have him do a little gator chomp on something.
He's going to be wearing the Anal Zone shirt when he shows up. I get it. All right, man. Here we go. That's
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, get your jerseys if you're getting them for Christmas. Order them soon. Order them from a licensed place, though. Don't buy them out of the trunk of some guy's car. They'll fall apart when you wash them. Get them from licensed dealers, please.
Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com is the same stuff in the Lions shop. Doesn't cost you any extra.
Exactly.
Give us a little kickback when you do that, and you can get something help the show by doing something you're going to do anyway. That's the old saying. That's what we used to say. There you go. Fanatics. Great for Christmas too. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com and Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Help us out. We love you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you. And there's been a lot of folks giving love on Twitter and actually saying, hey, we miss you guys being able to do shows. And we do too. Trust me. We've both had absolutely chaotic lives this season, and we've been doing them more whenever we can. But thank you all for sticking with us and listening and hanging with the show and enjoying our silliness and our probes and everything else we talk about. You help make this as fun for us as some of you guys have as well. So really, thanks for hanging with us while we do this. And we apologize for the sporadicism, if that's not a word it should be now, of us. Of our shows. Riz's internet just fritzed, so I've got this at the end. Don't you worry. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. $5 a month gets you into the Slack, the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. That's where we hang out and talk to Riz, Gray. We're all hanging out. It's a great time. Also follow us on Twitter at DET Lions podcast. For nights like tonight, it's a great one to know when we're moving back and forth, when we're doing a show or we get with the time shifting or whatever. You can follow us there. You'll know when we're going to go live and what's going on at DET Lions Podcast. And we're DET Lions Podcast on Blue Sky as well. So you can follow us there, Threads, Instagram. I might go live from Instagram ahead of the Lions game. So make sure you get us there. That's where it's Detroit Lions Podcast on the Insta. So you can give us a follow and have some fun with us there. Yes, Ken McCain, hit that like button, peeps. Chris called Case in the post-game show. I should. We'll see what we can do. Also, be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast. That way, Riz can come into your ears automatically, and I can come into your little box, because that's how we all love to do it. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, because we are your Detroit Lions, your 12-1 Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Thank you all. If I don't see you, happy holidays. If I do, you probably won against Buffalo.